your favorite rebel who's endangering the mission and shouldn't have come's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Hot Toys Endor Luke Skywalker. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of skeptical about this release because it just seemed like sort of a repackaged Jedi Knight Luke, and for a large majority of it is. However, there is, I feel like, enough unique things about this where I feel justified in my purchase, but we're gonna go through those things, but first, we're gonna go through accessories. He comes with a display base, and it's quite nice. So we have the Luke Skywalker there, we have the kind of sand, dirt sort of effect. I mean, obviously it's dirt, it's on Endor, and it's like, you know, airbrushed and so forth, and then dry brushed after the fact. It looks quite nice, and it comes with some accessories for it. Of course, it comes with a two-prong tension stand for you to put on him, which I can't get the right angle for at the moment, but we'll show it at some point. And it also comes with some kind of like land effects, like scenery, and I think, I look, maybe I'm a cornball, I'll take that charge, that's fine. But I do think it adds something to it, like that looks more interesting. I like stuff like that. So it's not too much where it kind of overcomes the presence of the figure, but it's a little bit more than just a stand and kind of gives it like the suggestion of ambiance. I dig that an awful lot. Well done. He comes with a fair array of hands. We have left and right fist hands. We have a right lightsaber holding hand that has the light up effect, and it comes with the 3 batteries for that as well. We'll talk about the detailings of the lightsaber when we get to that. He also comes with a right force using hand or trigger finger hand, depending on how you want to do it. He could be choking somebody else and getting his dark side on. He almost fell there for a second if you were keeping track. On the left side, we have the lightsaber holding hand, we have a force gesture using hand, and then a strong like force push using hand. That's in addition to the 2 relaxed hands that he had in the opening footage. He comes with 2 replacement wrist ball hinges. They hinge in the center and then peg into the hand and into the forearm, so they'll swivel at both sides, so you'll be able to get up, down, in, out in addition to the swivel. He comes with this blaster. It's sculpted beautifully. Look at the detailings down there in the grip, plus the little screw or whatever it is that put in. Plus he has all of the dry brushing that goes on top of it, like it's a silver dry brushing. It looks really well done, and it's sculpted beautifully, and it'll hold it just fine. He comes with the lightsaber hilt and blade. I would imagine that this can disconnect, but it's stuck in there on mine, and I'm not going to risk it. In there, it has to, right? Because you also have the swap out. There it is. Thank you for not breaking. So you can swap out between the 2. This is supposed to be the swinging effect. Once again, I kind of know what they're going after. Sometimes it works better than others. However, generally, I feel like it's a bit of a swing and a miss. Am I right? I'm silly. I'm a silly move. And let's see what else. You know what I want? A white rod through the center with the green translucent around it. I'm not going to stop saying it until somebody tries it. For the hilt itself, we have the chrome. We have the copper. It looks beautiful. Little red and green bits painted on there, as well as the black. It is tremendous. It will hang from his belt just fine, and he'll also hold it just fine. He comes with the more Jedi look. If you don't want the poncho, you can take the poncho off, put this around his arms, so to speak, like a vest, and then take the belt, which is Velcro, and add it on. The soft goods are nice. They have that like kind of pleated material that looks 100% accurate that we've seen used with Jedi stuff before. I'm not going to do this because it's just too much of a pain, and sometimes that stuff never, I feel like, sits quite right again. So I'm not going to show it, but know that it is an option, and if you want that look, you can have it. It's just not my favorite look for him in general. And lastly, he comes with this helmet. This is really well done. You have the little insignia there painted red and yellow. You have the weathering with the silver kind of done around the helmet. You have all of this, which is sculpted beautifully, plus the leather look down at the bottom. This is a plastic here, and so is this in the back. But this up here is actually a soft good over top of the plastic with then this piece around it to encompass it. It's extremely well done. You have the chin strap, which doesn't peg in super securely, but I don't think it'll bother you. That goes here, and I'll also show you how to swap it out with his hair. So in order to get it on, you just take the hair off, which is a little unnerving, I will admit. Use your chin strap, get underneath the chin and back around the head, and it'll sit, once again, magnetized to the top of the head. And that, I feel like, works just so much better than the hair, to me. You know, maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I feel. As for the face comparison, and I couldn't find this exact shot, but here's something that's close. Like, I think that the helmet is spot on and beautiful. I also think they got the eyes right, and they're extremely well painted, where there's like a little bit of like, you know, wear and tear, you know, crow's feet, if you will, just the slightest bit. And the sculpt is like dead on. Also, the painting of the eyes is beautiful. The shading of the face in general is done well, as is the lip tones. Sometimes that can be jarring and off-putting, but this one seems to be right on the money and matches his lip tone very well. But I feel like they got the general sculpt and paint of the face. I think it's really just the expression that throws it off. It just looks like he's just got rows and rows of teeth, like Baby Shark. Like, it goes on and on, all them teeth. And I'm not even saying that's inaccurate. I'm just saying it's bizarre to kind of look at. But I think with the helmet, it's a much more well-presented representation of Mark Hamill in this particular outfit in Return of the Jedi. Looking at it side by side for the full outfit, and I think they pretty much nailed it. I will say I feel like the tones are a bit darker in the movie, but I don't think it's distracting, and I think it's one of those things where the lighting is obviously playing a part, but also how you see it in your memory is going to play it a part. Like, I don't think it's going to be one of those things where like you walk up to this and you're like, well, this ain't right. But looking at it, I will say there is something off about the camouflage palette. But between what's underneath, the belt on top, the boots, etc., I feel like it's close enough. But the camouflage palette definitely is off. So let's talk plastics, and there's not a lot to talk about, but plastics and paint. Now, we've already kind of talked about the face, but we didn't talk about the hair. So the hair does have that kind of metallic sheen to it. This does bother some people. It doesn't bother me. I kind of feel like it picks up the lights, the highlights of the lights well. So I'm into it. And then it's kind of darker shaded around the bottom of it. I'm into that as well. Plus you have the darker shade along the kind of part in his hair. All of that seems to work well for me, so I think it's well done. And then the hands are painted and sculpted tremendously, and honestly, like, that's really it for the like plastic and paint work on this thing. It operates mainly off of soft goods, and you know, with the exception of the face that we've already kind of talked about. So let's move into the soft goods. We have the poncho, and what I do like about this is like it's posable, but like I don't feel, I guess there is a wire in there, but I don't feel it. It's some sort of magic, some sort of black magic from Ella Fitzgerald. But it's posable. Like, it's super posable, and you can kind of get it out, you know, so to speak, wherever you want. Like, it works well. And then you can bring the hood over for that look. And I mean, like, I don't think he never wears this in the movie, but it's not a bad look. It works. You know, I dig it. Like, that's done tremendously. And as a result, you can kind of fold in all your wrinkles and stuff, so give it some real weight. All that works. The belt is cool. The pants are good enough. They're one of those things where I feel like, you know, one of my complaints with soft goods is a lot of times it doesn't look like it has the real weight, and these don't look super heavy. However, they're form-fitting enough where I don't think it will bother you, because it doesn't really bother me. And you can kind of manipulate it. Like, I got a seam that's off here, but you can kind of manipulate it a bit to kind of get, you know, your bagginess where it kind of makes more sense. So I think that's well done. It's the same material here for the sleeves, which, once again, like, the bagginess of the sleeve, it ends up not looking 100% right, but it's not terrible either. And I don't think, if you're not looking at it under harsh lights and looking for criticisms, kind of like I am, I don't think it'll ever bother you. The boots are tremendous. They look like leather. The stitching is done beautifully. To be fair, the stitching on all the soft goods is done well, which is something else I'm usually critical of, but it's done very well here. And so is the underbelt with the pouch and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's even that, which is going to be covered by the poncho, and it's going to be on the back if you have his like kind of more Jedi look on. It's still weathered and stuff to make it look like worn leather. So it works really well. Down here, the boots are done beautifully. They always nail this kind of pleather look. It looks tremendous. And then you have the sole on the bottom, and it's a double ball peg here, which we'll get into in a minute, but you can get some crazy ankle rockers out of that. So he's going to pose nicely as well. And speaking of articulation, let's just get into it. So it's a single ball peg from the head into the chest. Good down, good up, confused cat look, swivel. I kept my plastic on because you don't really notice it, and it'll protect the paint. We have ball hinges. I think they could be disc hinges for the shoulders that get you out a little bit past 90 degrees, and the soft goods don't inhibit it at all. And forward is a little limited, but I think it's fair. We have a bicep swivel, no issue there. We have a double hinged elbow, no issue there. So all of that works well, and we've already gone over the wrist. Same for this side. We have what feels like a double ball peg just between the abdomen and the chest. That's what it feels like. But the the range is crazy on it. The soft goods don't get in the way one bit, which is nice. And usually not the case, you know, but you're going to be able to get him in some poses, which is always a beautiful thing because a lot of times they have to end up looking fairly stoic. We have what feels like ball joints to me. Actually, they could be universals. I can't tell. Either way, great range out to the side, great range forward, so no issues. And a thigh swivel built around it, so I'm going to guess it is a universal. But I can't tell. Ooh. Ratcheted double jointed knee. Also rare to see. Works really well, and the ratchets are very fine toothed or teethed. I'm not sure what the proper wording is for that. But there's a lot of clicks. You know, they're well done, well executed. Double ball peg, like I said, from the ankle into the foot. So you're going to get ankle tilt up, no problem. Ankle tilt down, no problem. Rocker, no problem. And it's done beautifully. So articulation-wise, it's one of the best I've ever seen, honestly. Especially to be covered almost head to toe in soft goods. I feel like that's very rare to get that sort of articulation range. Final thoughts-wise, let's start with the negatives. And the truth is, there's not a lot, but the negatives are big deals. So one of them is the face sculpt. I don't know what it is about Hamill, but it's hard to get right. I feel like they nailed the eyes. It's just that facial expression with all the teeth. It throws it off. It may be that. It may also be the swap out hair thing that causes it a bit because it definitely looks better with the helmet on, but there's just something off about it. And the same thing goes for the camo palette on the poncho. Something off about it. But honestly, I mean, those are my only real criticisms of it. It's just that they make up the two things that you're gonna kind of see immediately. Do you know what I mean? Plenty of positives though. For one, I think it does look much better with the helmet on. As you can see, it just instantly looks a lot more like Luke Skywalker. So I think the hair does play a big part in it. For two, the articulation is outstanding. One of the best articulated 1/6 scale figures I've ever looked at. The soft goods are also executed extremely well in that regard, where they don't get in the way of articulation. Most of them look like they have weight to it. Like I said, the pants and the sleeves are a little iffy, but I feel like most of the time it's gonna look fine. Little changes like the ratchets in the knees, nice touch. The display base is amazing, and it comes with all of the accessories that you could possibly want for this representation of the character. So it's a recommend for me. I'm not sure if you need this if you have the Jedi Knight Luke. I'm not sure what more joy this will bring, but because it's not one of the most iconic outfits for this character, but it does do the trick, so it is a recommend for me. Just know that if you want it with the hair, it might not look as good. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.